Hello, good morning, Happy New Year's. Nice to see so many agents coming from all around the world. Thank you very much to join the WEBA live workshop. Today is the 18th of January 2023 and is our first online workshop in the new year. So we hope that everyone is well and that everyone has a good start in the new year, because it's very, very important. We are all very optimistic for this year. And it's great to start with a very interesting concept, study in France, especially in a particular school, 3IS. And I can see that Claudia is with us today as well. Hello, Claudia, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes. Hello, Richard. Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me and see me?
Hear you very well, Claudia. We can hear you very well.
Perfect.
Very nice background you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Richard, for having organized.
So, you know, we started with you this year, and you have a great smile. This gives us a lot of good, positive vibes to start the workshop in 2023. I can see that more agents are joining us at the moment. So welcome to everyone. I know many of you since a long, long time. It's always nice to see you here at my WEBA workshop live. And I know that I will meet many of you as well in London in February. I can see Dr. Mark Burdick is with us today here as well. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Buongiorno, Riccardo. Sta bien bene. Hanukkah New Year from Amsterdam. Hanukkah New Year. That's how you say Happy New Year in Dutch, huh?
Ah.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Bonne année, alors, in French. Bonne année à tout le monde.
We're going to be in France here next week, so I'm going to remember this, huh?
Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
Great, great, great. So, and as well to all the Chinese colleagues, I know that shortly will be the Chinese New Year. So all the best to the Chinese colleague as well with us today. Is always nice as well, all the Asian who will do in the Chinese New Year soon. So I think now, Claudia, we can start in a second and just see the final agent who registered. So thank you very much to be here on board today. I just want to inform everyone that at the end of the workshop, Claudia will do a follow-up email with all of you, and she will send a copy of the PowerPoint presentation and more information like agents agreement and so on. And from my side, for all the agents who remain until the end, they will receive a copy of the registered workshop, because this workshop is recorded today. So you can show this recorded workshop to your staff, and this will help them to understand exactly how 3IS is working, what bachelor they're offering, what master program they're offering. But Claudia, tell me a little bit, what is 3IS and where is it located exactly? And how many campuses and how many students? Tell us a little bit about you.
Exactly. So again, hello to everyone, because exactly new people have been joining in the meantime. So hello, thank you again, Richard, for having organized this workshop. I'm really very happy to be here with all of you, and you are so many. So thank you again for your participation. So I'm Claudia Tfarok. I am the director of the international department at 3IS. This is the cinematography school. Cinema, TV, audiovisual, sound fields. We will talk in the details very soon about our programs. We are the school created 35 years ago in France, in Paris. However, we are not only located in Paris, but we have 3 different campuses in wonderful French cities in Lyon, Bordeaux, Nantes, and probably very soon new opening at Avignon, but well, let's not talk about that right now because it will be launched next year probably. So that's just very short introduction, and we are, as you can see, a cinema school. As my background shows a little bit, we are preparing students for careers in different fields focused on sound, cinematography, audiovisual.
Claudia, thank you very much for this short introduction. We welcome at the moment 62 agents from many different countries around the world.
Wow.
I would like to invite the agents, not now, but maybe in a second stage after she starts to finish with her presentation. If you have questions, just put this down on the chat system. As you can see below on Zoom, there is a chat system. You can just simply type your questions you have. And logically, if you're interested, just type down your email address. So Claudia will follow up immediately, the one who just put the email address down here today, and the other one will be follow up tomorrow, after tomorrow by email. Logically, after the workshop, you will have the opportunity to have a one-to-one meeting with Claudia as well. So she will send you as well the possibility to have a one-to-one meeting. And I think this is always very, very important. Before to start with the presentation, I just want to inform everyone that this program, which is offered in France, is in English and in French. So the program are delivered in English and as well in French. So for our colleagues who speak French from Africa and from many other countries around the world, who doesn't speak fluent English, they can still do the program as well in French. But the greatest win-win of this school, and because I studied the school very well, in and out with all of the most important part, is that they have the accommodation in Paris. So as you may know, have accommodation for students in big city like Paris, it's very, very difficult. So the biggest advantage from Tri-ES is they have their own accommodation. So that's mean that in this case, it's very, let's say for the visa purposes, it's very, very important to have the accommodation. And I spoke to Claudia many times before this event, and she told me that the visas with students coming from around the world is very, very good. The rate to get the visa to enter in France is excellent. And one of the main reasons is because of the accommodation they offer directly in Paris. Claudia,
exactly.
I
can confirm, yeah, we will talk a little bit later also in details, but exactly what has Richard just said. This year, 100% of our students who were accepted and were, you know, joining us, 100% they got their visa, because as you all know, how difficult it may be when students are dealing with these questions, and we have our own, and we are the unique cinematographer school here in the Paris region who has his own accommodation. So I will show you a little bit in details in the presentation. Absolutely.
Claudia, can I show just 1 minute the video, you know,
of course,
that you sent me yesterday before to start with the presentation, just to give you an idea. By the way, in general, how many students you have in all the campuses together? Just
well, of course. So we have around 2,500 euros students, 2,500 students at our campuses, and right now we welcome, it depends on the year, but around between 30 and 35 different nationalities, specifically in our Paris campus, because that's what I will also explain you in details. Right now, our international programs are offered here in Paris. However, we will be launched the new BA, so Bachelor in Sound, at Bordeaux, at our campus in Bordeaux next year.
Fantastic. So we are now with 65 agents. Ladies and gentlemen, I will start to show you a short video just to give you an idea what we're talking about. And then Claudia will start with her presentation. Let me share my screen. Let me go here in my big, voila, here we go. Let me open this a little bit more.
Salut, je m'appelle Nina, je suis étudiante à 3IS. C'est moi qui vais te faire visiter les lieux aujourd'hui. Tu viens ? Là, on arrive au niveau de la régie télé, qui est connectée à un plateau d'émission. Ils sont en train de répéter, donc on va rentrer, mais discrètement. Viens avec moi, on va aller voir le plateau.
Donc d'abord, je vais lancer le générique.
Générique dans 3, 2, 1.
Bonjour à tous et bienvenue sur 3IS News. Aux États-Unis, Joe Biden et Donald Trump sont toujours au coude à coude durant ces derniers jours des élections américaines. Et en France, c'est le reconfinement qui s'accompagne de nouvelles règles sanitaires.
Là, on va aller voir un tournage réalisé par les deuxièmes années. C'est leur projet pédagogique, c'est hyper important pour eux.
Alors, Cali, avance-toi, je vais te dire stop. Avance-toi doucement. Ouais, faut pas que tu recules un peu. Là, un tout petit peu. Ouais, bah tant que tu sors la lumière, c'est bon. Je recule un tout petit peu, voilà. Décale-toi sur ta droite.
En plus, ça lui fait des épaules.
Ouais.
Oui,
Et puis on y va, on va les laisser bosser. Là, je vais te présenter les cours de spectacle vivant. Donc, tu as des cours de lumière, des cours de son, et tu devrais voir le référent Gilles Khalil qui va te présenter la section.
Entre, entre. On est en plein milieu d'un cours sur les asservis, là. Alors, comment ça se passe les
So, ladies and gentlemen, logically, we will share the video with all of you. This is just to give you a short idea how the school is a big school, big campus. We're talking about film, TV, cinematography, and sound. So altogether, Brother Lumiere was one of the first world who created this world of television. And by the way, I know that for the Indian Bollywood, France is the first location in Europe to do all the movies. I'm sure that Upendra, who is with us here today, Upendra Singh, is very familiar about this one, that the majority of the Bollywood film made running in India are made in France, and here in Switzerland, in my country as well. Claudia, not everything in France, let's say the majority.
Of course.
Sometimes they cross the border and they just show some place of Switzerland as well. Claudia, we are ready. We are coming now shortly to 70 agents, who the last one who just joined us today. Fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone else to join us today. We are here with 3IS. We are ready to start with the presentation. Please share your screen.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So
I would like to remind everyone that at the end of the workshop, we will do a follow-up email and send you a copy of the recorded workshop, and Claudia will share the PowerPoint presentation and the agents agreement. You can share your screen.
Can you see it right now?
No, I cannot see it now. Yes, now
yes.
We can see it. Fantastic, fantastic. Okie
Great.
dokie. So you are more than welcome to start with the presentation. And logically, dear agents, if you have any questions, you can always put down the question on the chat system. And when Claudia is quite finished with the presentation, she will reply to all of you, and I will try to reply as well.
Exactly. So as you can see, I put here international programs because we will specifically focus on these today. However, as Richard said at the beginning of the presentation, we are first of all the French school, right? So actually 35 years ago when the school was created, there were specifically only programs in French, and specifically in our two main fields, sound and cinema and TV. And some years ago, we have opened these specific specializations to an international market, and these ones are now proposed at the bachelor's and master's level that we will see just within a while. However, of course, and then I will also mention, we have other programs in French, obviously. So for the French-speaking candidates, we are absolutely and very happy to invite them to apply to enroll to our French-speaking programs. Well, as you can see, so 3IS, the abbreviation comes from three letters: International Institute for Image, and sound, right? Just for these who are quite curious to know why this name. So as we said, just to repeat, we prepare students for careers in film, television, sound, but also, as I said, specifically for French speakers, special effects, animated film, video games, performing arts, design, acting, and recording and music production in general. And please, at this moment, I would like to highlight that video games and animation 2D, 3D will be probably launched in 2024 in English, right? By now only in French, but we see an incredibly big interest for these specializations. So they will be probably proposed in English very soon. Well, as we said, a birthplace of cinema, right? With Lumière brothers. Paris is one of the cultural capitals of the world. And we are so happy to be settled here, not in the center of the city. We are around, without traffic, 30 minutes to the Eiffel Tower, a little bit outside of the city, close to the Château de Versailles, for all of these who know very well, Versailles Castle, with a very good connection to the city center, the bus stop just in front of our campus that goes to Paris or to Versailles directly. One word about the cinema, because that's what also appeals so much our students coming from all over the world, studying for sure here, where so many and hundreds of films were done in Paris. It's really amazing, and we can just highlight that Paris has the highest density of cinemas in the world. That's quite surprising, but that's apparently a true information. And as you know, France is home to some of the most film festivals like Cannes, Deauville, and different ones. And we are also happy that our students are very often involved in many festivals, also like a crew, teams. Just to give you an example, this Monday there was a big festivity in Paris, Trophée des Lumières, when 3IS was represented by 35 of our students who were in charge of all technical parts linked to lighting, among others. Why choose 3IS? There are many cinema schools, right, in the world in general, and everyone will say, okay, we have great programs, excellent programs. However, our difference is that we have an incredibly amazing campus that is one of the most impressive in Europe, because we, as you can see here, I don't know if you can see well, we invest every year a lot of money in equipment of our campus, which means that not only our fixed sets are already done, like 300 screening room or motion capture studio, movie set, but also on a regular basis, and every year we invest in new equipment, new cameras that are given on a for all students on a regular basis, every even weekend, when students want to make their projects, but also work on their own for the individual films. Everything is available for free for our students, and they really, believe me, appreciate this great opportunity. We are officially an industry recognized training school. Our hands-on learning classes give us this strong network that we have here in Paris, in France in general, and also more and more abroad, because we maintain these links with professionals in the field, which means that all our classes are given by almost 100% by professionals, right? So classes are given by the directors of lighting or screenwriters, directors of the films, people who are on a regular basis doing TV shows in the French TV, they are doing their films, and they are, of course, for the English speaking programs, all English speakers, native or French who speak very well English, of course.
Very interesting, Claudia. What is very interesting, sorry to interrupt you, is
of course.
School every year offering an internship program at the end of the year of the bachelor program. So this is a win-win because students will learn the practical way, not only the theoretical way, but as well the practical way. And this is a great advantage. But by the way, the school is a practical school because as we can see, they have different programs, but they have a different area where they learn how to make movies, they learn how to stand in front of the audience, they learn how to speak in front of the television. So there is a lot of big advantage in 3IS. We have to remember they have around 2,000 students and from many different countries around the world. So they have a lot of people who came to 3IS and now they're working television, they're working in movies, etc. I just had one of my clients, which was with me today as well before, Mark Burdick. He just mentioned to me that one of his son is a writer of Netflix. I presume that many of you are very famous for Netflix. And this is a business world now that is a new business world for the new age. Let's put it like this one. So students, they don't want to study only bachelor in global business or bachelor in hospitality or in graphic design. They want really to work in the business industry of the television, of the cinema. And 3IS give this opportunity in France, which is, let's say, the capital in the world for cinema. Please,
exactly. I will maybe add very quickly one important information here, because I will just tell you later that exactly there are internships included in the bachelor and master programs, but please know and note this information that is extremely important. Actually, our students who are enrolled in our programs, and doesn't matter French or international ones, they can benefit from the specific Erasmus grant when they go abroad, and specifically for an internship. So an example, recently a Brazilian student enrolled in the BA Film and TV program. She finally chose her internship to do in Portugal, and she was granted, she got a scholarship, financial help from Erasmus, because we are a member of Erasmus. So that's also an important information, right?
Absolutely. But I think these details will then light when you have a one-to-one meeting with you again.
Exactly. Not to do it too long.
Of Erasmus, etc.
Yes. In any case, I think that let's go because I don't want you to spend neither hours and hours on the presentation. Just very quickly to tell you what I mentioned before. The school is really very recognized by the professionals. You can see here more than 100 festival selections for our students, short films, documentaries, and animated films. So what it means that actually our students, when they are enrolled in our bachelor and master program.
Sorry,
maybe there is a question.
Continue. It will be kind if all the agents remain on mute modality during the presentation. Thank you very much.
Which means that these films that students prepare during their studies are also presented on some different festivals, and for sure our students sometimes they also win prizes thanks to these films, right? So here, as I said, we are on 4 different campuses: Paris, Bordeaux, Lyon, and Nantes. And please just see here what I mentioned quickly at the beginning, these 8 fields of studies that we propose. As I said, cinema, audiovisual, and sound, both at the French and English, in French and English, and then video games, 2D, 3D animation, acting, special effects, live shows, and design, by now only in French, but probably video gaming and animation opening quite soon in English. We will now focus on our English speaking programs because that's the most important for international students. And so let's start with our main one, which is Bachelor in Film and TV, BA in Film and TV. That is that one where we have the biggest number of international students. And so please let me explain quite quickly what's the goal. We prepare, as we said, for careers in directing, screenwriting, producing, cinematography. We really, and that's to highlight, we want our students from the first semester to be ready to work like in a professional world, right? So even it was impressive for our students who enrolled this year. They absolutely didn't think that from the first month they would already, have their cameras. They were just simply high school students some months ago, and then here they really started with some crews, a bit in groups or individual one, by individual. They were already working on their films, and that's our school actually give a possibility to the students to work from the beginning on filming. As you can see, the study program, this is the example because there are not all classes, right? But as you can see, of course, they will have some theoretical classes of art history or cinema. But also then we enter more in image and audio editing, in film production, directing, of course, camera, sound and video technologies, motion design and video effects, set design, color grading, because our students from the second year, they will have to choose the specialization. So the first year is a kind of foundation year. The second one is all about skills. Student will choose one of three majors: cinematography, editing, or production, right? And then in the third year, they will focus on the specialization that they chose, with the internship also here of minimum 3 months, that will, let's say, sum up what they have achieved during the 3 years of studies, with an internship, as we said, that can be done or in France or in their country where they come from, or just simply in another one, right? So just very quickly, as you can see, first year, not mandatory internship. Starting the second year, yes, 2 months between January and February. And then at the end of the third year, there is a much longer internship. And here quickly, because as we said, you will get this presentation, so you will have a possibility to go deeper. But just I want you to see how students really learn through these projects. So you can see that from the first year, they already work on documentaries, fiction films, and then they have news reports in the second one, to really end at the third year with the big fiction film of 15 minutes. That is always, that's a big, event at school, because all students and all administrative staff, all teachers are invited in our big cinema room where the films are presented. Of course, students complete the program by receiving, European credit transfer credits, ECTS, and they will, at the end of their studies, receive, in French, the name is DESTIS, so Diplôme d'études supérieures en technique de l'image et du son. So in English, graduate degree in image and sound techniques, which is equivalent to a university bachelor degree tailored for the performing arts, right? and you can have just a small example of career path. So where our students, once they finish the program, what kind of career they can have, like set designer, producer, screenwriter, movie editor. Let's continue with the cinematography field, but now upper grade MFA in cinematography. Maybe, sorry, let me just say one word concerning the BA because it's important. This year, we welcomed 40 students, but from 20 different nationalities. And it was absolutely a maximum number of students that we could enroll. It was 40 students. For the good quality of the program, it was not possible for the director of the program to have more students because, as we said, the quality here is extremely important. The decision this year is to, well, the interest is extremely big. We see how many, now I have already 15 candidates, you know, and we are only at the beginning of January and only speaking about international students. So we will for sure open 2 groups because the interest is huge, and we just, you know, want to welcome many students. So as I said, BA Film and TV, a great year this year, 20 nationalities, students coming from India. We have 2 great Indian students from Peru, United States, Colombia, Russia, Ukraine, Poland, Hungary. I will not list the all countries, but a wonderful, wonderful international group. So, well, MFA cinematography, as I said, yes, Richard, you had.
I take you 1 minute to breathe a little bit, so I will take over 1 minute of you. We welcome at the moment 80 agents, 80, wow, from 31 different countries. This is great. I mean, this is a very good news. I want to inform everyone that as well, African students study directly at the 3IS in French. So if you have African, because we have African agents here today from different countries, from Cameroon, Senegal, Kenya, Nigeria, I hope Rwanda, I don't forget no one from you, Gambia, logically, Ghana, excuse me. So if some of you need to do the program in French, this is possible. They have the international students from French as well in France. Just to mention one more time, an English program, but a French and English program. And on top of that, I want to mention to you that we have the Teacher Association of Russia with us today here, as well, the head of the Teacher Association in Russia, and they are very much interested as well to send a lot of students, just for your information. And by the way, you just mentioned to me yesterday that you welcome Russian students on campus as well. And this is great. And we all hope that everything will be solved soon.
Exactly.
Continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. Yes, so let's continue with the MFA and cinematography. As I said, that's well, the level up. Of course, it doesn't mean that, you know, by now our students who enroll in the MFA cinematography, because it was a new program launched just recently, so we didn't really have, you know, the students, only one who were really continuing from the bachelor because they were the new programs. But actually in the MFA, it can be that students from the BA continue on the MFA, but it doesn't mean that they have to do it, right? So MFA cinematography, 100%. Of course, in English for that one, 2 years program aimed, well, let's say at students who preferably have already the bachelor in cinema or audiovisual studies. However, it can happen that actually students have been doing actually the bachelor degree in another field, but they have a really strong interest in the cinema, and they have been like having it like a passion, right? They are sending us their portfolio, and I will give an example. This year, an American student from Texas who is actually an engineering and a completely other field, but during years he was really fascinated by doing films, you know, and making some commercials for American companies, and he's a great element of the program. Well, our objective here is to really go much deeper in the world of cinema. So all the aspects of directing, writing, image, and post-production will be already taught at the upper level, right? So students will really learn these skills like in a, let's say, the professional world. Let's look at the study program, producing and directing, directing actors already, script doctoring, writing a screenplay, a little bit of history of the cinema just to have some theoretical classes, but also production management and professional fiction projects with mood-borne project, no pitch, synopsis. It's extremely important already once they want to be ready for being the future directors in the cinematography world. One word also, as you can see, language discovery and French culture awareness. That's important also to say that obviously our French speakers get French classes, right, that are included in the curriculum, and that's important because for the big majority, international students do not really speak French. Here, everything at school is in English, but well, that's important if specifically also they want to look for an internship in France. It will be an asset to speak the language.
There is no additional cost, correct, for this type of?
No additional cost. No additional cost. And we are even thinking about really students love these classes because actually it's not only learning language, but also going. We are just next to Paris. So very often the teacher takes students to the museums, or it can be very often museums, but also linked to the world of cinema, of course, and that then they can learn already French, but in the field they are studying. So that's actually the best, and they really enjoy. So there is a demand to have even more of these classes. So that's what we are improving.
Claudia, one question that came inside is you have a limited number of students available for the master program, as you mentioned before, 40, but you will add another group most probably. But the same concept is regarding the accommodation as well, because first students, first come, first served. Let's put it like this one, correct? So we invite agents to enroll students very, very early in order to have the guarantee of the accommodation, because they don't have 2,000 space for the accommodation.
But
how big is the space that you have?
Actually, we have around 200. That's really not enough, as you can imagine. Okay, 2,500 students in 4 campuses. So around 1,400 here in Paris. Of course, as you can imagine, a big group of French students live with their families in the Paris region, so they do not need accommodation. The priority is given to international students. However, of course, there are also French students who are coming from, let's say, French Riviera, from really far away, and they also are applying to the accommodation. So as I said, priority given to international students, but it's important to apply early, because as you can imagine, if a student applies to the school in July, it will be extremely difficult to guarantee the flat, right? Because well, as we said, first on the basis of first come, first served. So actually we always at the end keep some flats available, but well, then the first students are really a priority, and we have too many demands for the number of flats available. That's also another investment. We will probably think about, well, just constructing a new residence, because the demand is such a big one.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to remind all the agents who just joined us that at the end of the workshop, we will do a follow-up email and we will send a copy of the presentation, a copy of the recorded workshop. And for the one who remain until the end, we will send as well a copy of the agent's agreement, because it's very, very important that the agents who are really seriously interested to work with 3IS to remain till the end in order to have the possibility to know all the details, because it's fundamental in order to promote a school. By the way, Claudia, I just received a note from my office here, and they asked me, you are more than welcome to join free of charge our WEBA workshop held in London on the 20th of February. In case you have the opportunity, we have over 150 agents join us in London. Will be a very big workshop, and if you have time to jump with the flight,
well, it's close, right? So with Eurostar from Paris.
This will be fantastic. I just received a note from several of my colleagues. Said, Richard, why you don't invite Claudia to come to
with pleasure. But Richard, you remember that I think it was more than 10 years, right? When I was working in a business school. So that's true that I was in London also participating in one of your recruitment agents first. With pleasure. Thank you very much for the invitation. I would be pleased to come. Thank you very much. So well,
with the presentation. Let's continue with the presentation.
Exactly, because so quickly, just as you can see the content of the MFA, right? So first year we work on these fields like directing, writing, assisting director, script, image, and then in the second year students write and shoot a fiction film in professional conditions, and they also design a documentary for which they write a full production file and produce a 5-minute teaser. Well, as I said before, so I will not repeat, always this personalized one-to-one instruction from a tutor working in the same field, and that's so important. The projects that you can see here in details, as I said, documentaries, reporting and interviewing, theater production, filming, musical clip, always in the professional conditions, and always these practical aspects so important. Career path as an example, as you can see at the end, our students will probably get their job as screenwriter, director, chief editor, depending on the specialization, right? Because that's it. There are these who prefer to specialize themselves more in TV, the other ones more in cinema, and it depends on their on the field that they will choose. It was yes, yes, please.
I have to stop you one more time. Sorry for this, but I want to welcome on board Upendra Singh, who has a great experience in France in this type of program in the Alps of France, and he asked me if he can just give a 1 minute feedback of his experience. Upendra, if it's okay for you, Claudia.
Of course, of course.
Yeah. May you switch over to the screen? So I would request you.
Bonjour, hello.
Yeah, bonjour. How are you today? So I will speak in English so that everybody can understand.
Yes.
So I just take you back into my starting of my journey in 2003. And when Honorable Ahmed Martin Aquabuzz, she gave me the opportunity to promote the Indian Bollywood industry in Leo and Uronians. So in short, I would like to all of the, my colleagues over on this, the screen, they joined today. There is a beautiful opportunities, especially in Agners and Ronials. It is famous for world for film shootings and beautiful vineyards.
Wow.
And, you know, the Discovery Channel is just especially given opportunity for shooting out elephant time in the documentary.
Wow.
So, and the French is well famous for this one. So I would request everybody to, especially from Indian, I mean, you know, the all agents over the screen who joined this meeting today, there is a huge scope of, and I would recommend altogether to learn some French in a starting for a month. That is very important, very important to coordinate with the local people. They are very much, I mean, you know, the favorable, especially I would recommend in the Toulouse and your Machili and nearby areas.
Thank you.
They are very much, you know, the brotherly and friendly they behave, and tremendous scope. You know, the French is widely spoken, especially in African countries, and the government of India is promoting and already entered into the free trade agreement with the AFTA. So this is an, I mean, you know, the opportunity right now. The film production company, especially from Bollywood industry, will get a chance to get the special funds. Even a startup fund is allocated. That's why I was requesting Richard to just give me, I mean, the 2 minutes to speak. So these are I'm adding these features. The French film commissions, they are not very much aware. You know, in previously, they were offering us 30%, I mean, you know, the incentives. Earlier, it was 33. Now they lowered down on the 33% in all European countries. I would request to, I mean, you know, just to add extra features into that so that you can come closer and to boost up the trade easily and create the job opportunities very easily, because the Indians are very much keen to shoot out the films in France to learn, I mean, the film production and everything, I mean, you know, the courses from there, and altogether too, I mean, you know, shoot out the films in African continent. The French is widely spoken in African continent. You see, there is a huge revenue available there. So that is my, I mean, I wanted to add. Thank you, Kaladia.
Indra, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Upendra. And let's, in any case, keep in touch later, right? By email, or we can organize, you know, another Zoom meeting with pleasure.
This is a great news. And by the way, we had an agent from Latvia here, from Albania, from many others, well, European countries at the moment, and all of them show serious interest to work with 3IS and ask to receive the copy of the presentation. Everything will be done at the end of the workshop. And many of them, they want to know what is the entry, the French entry requirement in terms of language, what tests they need to do if they want to do the French program, or what is the entry requirement if they need to do the English program. Maybe can you give this information, Claudia?
Yes, of course, for sure. Just to say that if for the English-speaking programs, of course, students do not need to speak French. That's normal. However, one word, but that's also, I will send to all of you the requirements, because for English-speaking programs, actually students need to have an English certificate, unless, you know, English is their let's say native language, or they have been already studying in English. So that's for English speaking programs, right? But I can also send, of course, it's also on our website, what kind of is IELTS or TOEIC, TOEFL. In French, that's true that actually normally the requirement is the equivalent of B2, you know, B2 level of French. However, well, we have students, and that's surprising somehow, that actually students from African countries where French is spoken, sometimes they even apply for our English-speaking programs. That's also quite interesting. But of course, for French-speaking as well, I am right now in touch with many students from Africa, and so we are doing an interview in any case with them, as always with every candidate, in French in this case, and we ask for a certificate in French as well, right? So the equivalent of B2, but I will send this information also by email at the end.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Please, continue with the presentation.
So now quickly about sound field, right? Because as we have seen before, there were our 2 programs in cinematography, so at the bachelor's and master's level, and now we are launching our new programs in sound. However, please note, new programs in sound, but in English, but it doesn't mean that we are starting with the sound, right? As we said, we have this experience of more than 30 years of teaching sound. By the way, our director of the sound department, there was a French person quite famous in the in this field. I think one of her films was also nominated to Oscars. And in the English part, we have, and that's also interesting to know, a great Indian professor who is in Bordeaux, at Bordeaux campus. So he will also be partially teaching in the Bachelor in Sound Engineering program that will be launched soon. And also another great New Zealand teacher, also in the sound, a specialist of sound, also at Bordeaux. That's why the Bachelor in Sound Engineering will be open in Bordeaux, and Master in Sound Production in Paris. Let's go a little bit deeper in it. Oh, sorry, there is something, I don't know if you can see the line of my presentation.
Happens sometimes, someone.
Yeah, sorry, sorry. Well, Bachelor in Sound Engineering, here we focus on people who are really in music. There are very often already musicians, but who want to put their knowledge and their passion, because very often, you know, they make from their passion their future job. They want to use this passion and their skills in the cinematography field. So that's very interesting, because as we all know, well, the films would not exist without music, right? So actually here we are not only, however, talking only about the musical production, but also let's say the performances in radio, but television, but also working in the video games or animation, but as a sound specialist. Because as we know, in theater and video gamings, everywhere there are specialists of sound. So this 3-year training course of course has always this certification of, here I put the name, it's in French, RNCP. So the name in English is National Directory of Professional Certification. So you need to know that that's a program that is actually labeled by the Ministry of Labor in France. And as I said, will be launched as a new program in September this year. The example of content, music production, sound design production as well, but also live music events and TV show production for all students who really apply. Then I will for sure through the agents send and you will have the whole content of the program. Right here is just a short presentation to give you a short view. Internships also very important as practical part of the course. So 1 month during the first year, and then 2 months during the second one, and minimum 3 months, like a little bit on the BA Film and TV, the same system. And please look at the example of career path that can be proposed to the students, and it can be boom operator, creative producer, audio engineering. And as I said, it always also depends on the individual let's say passion of every student, right? Sometimes when they join, and we see it with the French students, they have already been doing a huge and a big amount of things in the musical fields, even before applying and before joining. Important thing concerning the portfolio, because you may maybe ask yourself how is it important? Do students should include it in the application? Please note that portfolio is not compulsory at the bachelor's level, however, mandatory at the master's level, right? So both at the cinematography field and in the sound production, we ask students to send us the link of already their production, what they have been doing, right? So the films or some music that they have created, and so on. And master, quickly before we go to the to another detail about early birds, because I want to tell you about early birds and also accommodation. So master, as we said, the same preferable in music or sound techniques. We focus on students who already are in this field. However, sometimes it can happen that they have simply a keen interest in artistic careers. They have been studying business, for example, and they are graduated from business studies. They can also apply, because as I said, if they have been producing things or just doing by passion, we are more than welcome to interview them and to see, and there is no reason they are not accepted, right? So study programs more deeply than in the bachelor level, with already mastering and sound design production and also electronic music production that's highly demanded by the students right now, and also the internships and 6 months at the end of the second year. That's important, just to sum up and to close, let's say, the second year, so the 5th year of higher education. Of course, also the credits of ECTS, total of 120 for the 2 years, and the example of career path, and in general, that sound designer, sound director, sound engineering. That's what they are looking for as a future career. One word of student profile. We are really always looking for personalities, right? Cinematography and sound field is something that you need to be passionate about. So I am, now in touch with hundreds of prospective students, and I see how they love it, simply. So that's, I would say, the strong interest in the creative industries. Important thing, ready to work in a team. Let's not forget that cinematography world is really a work of working in a team. You will not do a film only with your camera, because for sure, to do a film, you need someone who will be responsible for lighting, someone who will do post-production, someone who will write a script, right? So that's important also, that our students need to be responsible. We really highlight this from the first days when they arrive here. Please come on time. Don't lose classes, because when we prepare films, if the crew is a team of 15 people, and if 1/3 arrives with 1 hour later, you can imagine that the film cannot start being turned, right? So so that's really very important. Well, if I can continue with the accommodation, because as we said, it's really important for students, because we know how difficult it is, right? And specifically in Paris region. So as I said at the beginning, that's our own residence. So just even less than 10 minutes walking distance was here, and you can see it's a very green part. Well, like in the hotel, that's, when you choose a lake view, you will have the the highest price on the 3rd floor. However, in any case, all flats are very well equipped. I will maybe show you here the example. The majority are the individual ones. So like you can see with desk, chair, the kitchenette with fridge, everything included. Of course, bathroom. There are a few also for 2 students, right? We have, for example, our 2 Indian students enrolled this year in the BA Film and TV. They are sharing their flats, and they are very happy. There is also a Russian student who is sharing with, I think, a French student, I think. So
what is very important, Claudia, to say is that you have 100% visa rate at the moment because of that, because of the accommodation. So all the students, when they book for the program, they receive the accommodation as well. And for the French embassy, this is very, very important. So they have the guarantee that the student will study at the school and will have an accommodation. So ladies and gentlemen, very, very important. If you have students for 3IS, start early booking. You mentioned with early bird, and many agents ask me about the price. How much is the tuition?
Yeah, of course.
Commission.
yeah, of course.
Tuition fee and commission.
We speak, and we do not. Just the last thing, maybe about the accommodation, just to say, because it's also still important that actually for the price, I will also give you the range average price for the flat, right? Because everything is included. So I mean, the prices are between, depending, as I said, if it's individual or shared, and if it's 3rd floor view of the lake, of view of the parking, but in general, between 550 around, let's say, individual flat is something like 650, let's say. It can go upper, really 800, really the maximum, because it depends also on the size of the flat, right? But in general, you have heating, you know, a linen, twice a month cleaning lady. So that's included, and of course some facilities like gym, laundry room, multimedia room, etc., private car park. So that's the information. And so now the price, the commission here, in any case, you can see, because you will have also the website. However, important thing, we are just changing right now the platform where students were uploading their documents. We were working with Oscar, now we are changing to Salesforce, which means that just immediately, that's the time of, you know, transition. So if there are students who are interested, for sure they will pass through you as agents, but it will be the best to probably send me at the beginning the applications directly to me, okay? And then I will in any case keep in touch with everyone. About the price, right? So depending on the level, BA and MFA, BA program, the first year for international student, the tuition fees is 10,320 euros per year. And the difference is a little bit between the first and the second. So the first year, 10,320, and the third one, 11,560. I will for sure send the whole information by email as well. So this is as far as it concerns BA in sound and BA in film and TV, right? So 10,320 per year. And of course we add for this the accommodation. And the MFA, so Master in Sound Production and MFA in Cinematography, the price is a little bit higher, it's 14,500 per year. So that's actually that's no difference between the first and the second. That's the price.
The second year, sorry, because I'm just typing down this on the chat.
Please. So maybe good. The BA 10,320.
Yeah.
The second one 10,750.
Yes.
And the third one 11,560 euros.
506.
560 euros.
Okay.
11560.
Okay.
11,000.
Fantastic.
And sorry, and for the MFA 14,500 per year. So it's actually for the MFA. And please note that actually we also have the admission fees. It's a kind of, admission fees that guarantees the place once students enroll. And it's 430 euros for European students and 800 for outside Europe, because that's a question of visa. That's, we also take care of, being in touch with Campus France, the embassy. We are, of course, giving all the certificates needed, as we said, for the accommodation every time, as we said, 100%, really no visa refusal, because every time when student gets his accommodation, we prepare the certificate where we put, that the place the flat is confirmed with the address of our residence. So then everything is done for the visa purposes.
I put down this information on the chat system on Zoom. As you can see, there's a chat system. I typed down both of them. One question: what happened if, in case of a visa rejection, what happened? Will you refund the money?
Yes, of course, without problems. We, as we said, we didn't really have this case by now, only one, but it was just a student from Congo that actually, unfortunately, he made his demand for the visa too late, and already the first installment was already paid. So unfortunately, it wasn't a refusal. It was just too late to ask for the visa. So this year, everything, I hope, will be done from his side on time. And he decided not to take the money back because he wanted to, again, apply for this year. So in this case, no. But of course, if someone has a visa refusal, we give back the whole money without problems.
I have a question before visa, because I know how agents are working. They always ask me how much they have to pay before visa.
You mean the steps and the installments?
Yes.
How we work, it's actually, and it by now there was no problem with visa issues. Let's take example of, for example, BA, right? 10,320. It represents 4 different installments in the year. So every installment is 2,580. And actually, to guarantee the place in the program, students pay 800 euros of admission fees plus 2,580 of the first installment. And that's something that actually makes the student, be enrolled. And once we receive, in any case, the student receives the certificate informing about the acceptance and, of course, the payment. And this is also, we prepare, in any case, the certificates in French and in English, because for Campus France, as you all know, it's important to have the document also in French. And just for information, I know many representatives of Campus France agencies in the world. So let's take example of India, for example. I am in a very close contact and relationship with them. So if something really might happen, I am writing an email explaining that the whole process, that the student was doing this kind of interview, everything. So really no problem from this side.
2,520, correct? 800 plus 2,500.
Sorry, 2,580. Yes, 2,580. That's the first installment, and then just to finish that, the second installment, once the student is already here, is to be paid in October, the third one in January, and the fourth one in April. However, of course, students can pay, and we have the students who pay everything from the beginning. It might be done. So it's just to facilitate, and very often students prefer to have 4 different installments, but we have students who prefer to pay every month or who prefer to pay everything from the beginning. So it can be possible, of course.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I put down this information on the chat system. You can copy paste this. I just try to fix everything what you say, but Claudia will send logically an email to you and will He re-explained all the details. I just mentioned that they have 4 payments. They have to pay the first installment before the winter plus 800 euro, the second installment in October, the third one in January, and the fourth one in April. 4 students starting the next intake in September.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Aha, information, important information to mention. Bachelor's studies start mid-September, around 18th. The date will be confirmed soon. MFA, mid-October. That's important also to say that there is, and in general, you know, the classes finish by the end of June. You know, every year, end of June, beginning of January, with, of course, holidays for Christmas. So they have in general for Christmas minimum 3, even sometimes 3 weeks, and it was highly appreciated by international students who could go home. Like I was just discussing some days ago with our Peruvian student who was so happy to go to Peru because, well, they had 3 weeks, right? And then the second holidays are around Easter in April, 2 weeks of holidays.
One, I have more question coming in. The intake is always September, or you have as well an intake in January or March?
By now it was in January. However, and that's why I'm saying by now it's only in September. However, we are thinking about maybe, because I know that it could be important probably to have another intake in January or February. As I'm saying, by now it's not proposed, but we were discussing about that. So maybe in the future.
I have 2-3 points. First of all, I want to say thank you very much, all the agents, to join us today. I know some of you wake up very early in the morning and from South America. I want to say hello to the agent from New Zealand, from Australia, from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, rest of the world, for all Africa. We are with 80 agents here at the moment. It's very great. We are just in the middle of the most important part in order to recruit students for 3IS. France, Paris. When is the deadline application? When is the first application deadline, Claudia?
So actually, we are also, well, let's say the last one, really just to highlight for visa-seeking students, for sure. As always, it's like in every institution, students know that they need time and they cannot do it on the last minute, right? So for the BA students, really normally the last deadline is end of June. It might happen that really some last minute candidate applies. We had this situation with one Indian student this year. It was in July. We managed to have him in the group. However, he joined later, weeks later, and well, it was accepted, but he lost actually 4 weeks of the beginning of classes, right? So it's not great for him. It wasn't great, but I mean, it was very okay, because it was the question also of his passport. Doesn't matter. It was some you know, administrative things. So let's try not to go more than really the beginning of July for BA students, and MFA. It's in general end of July. We have more time in this situation, but it's really the very last deadline, end of July, right? And then actually we are also, but I will send this information as well, with the calendar of interviews, because as you know, we actually at bachelor's and master's level, of course, every time there is an interview in general with me. Also in the MFA, we are both in the director of the program and myself, and BA Film and TV, there is also a short QCM test to be done, but it's a easy general test. The link is sent to the candidates. So actually we send once we receive the applications, then actually the student is contacted through the agent and informed about the future possible interviews availabilities, and everything, the whole, let's say, application process can be closed very quickly. let's say once the application is received, it's a question of 3-4 days to give our feedback, and then the interview is proposed quickly, and also the answer is given. Then there is a commission, and the answer is given within 3 maximum days.
Thank you, Claudia. This is very important. What is the commission? What the agent gets out of the business?
So, well, of course, you need to get money with that. So normally we start actually, so we have also according to the number of students recruited. So we start with a commission of 10% between 1 and 3 students recruited. Starting 4 students, we go upper. Okay, like I imagine you work also like that with other institutions. I will also, all this information will send by email, so it will be 12% and then 15%. So let's I don't know if you want to write down, Richard.
At the moment I say 10% 1 to 3 students, 12% from 4 students to
4 and 6 students, 12.
Okay. Okay.
And starting 7 students, it would be 15%.
Okay, perfect. I wrote down everything on the chat system, so you can everyone can check on the chat system this information, and I invite all the agents always to remain on mute modality. Thank you very, very much. Claudia, you're doing well. Everything is clear at the moment. Logically, I know some of you agents, and I know that some of you sent over 50 students per year to single institution. If you have the case that you have a good number of students, I'm talking about a very good number of students, then logically we have to have a one-to-one meeting with Claudia. I can help you as well, so I can help Claudia as well to talk about this situation. Logically, we're talking about, I presume most of them should be students for the bachelor program. I know if it's the case, do not hesitate to contact me or Claudia.
Mm-hmm. You have also here, you see my email address and my phone number. That's a cellular phone, so I am of course available through WhatsApp, of course, also, and by email, so with big pleasure. And yes, as we said in any case with Richard, absolutely, I am in any case, you know, always available to have individual chat through Zoom, WhatsApp, Teams, wherever. So then we schedule this, and yes.
Claudia, do you have WeChat?
WeChat, yeah, because in China, right, it's very, very often WeChat, right?
Yes, correct. If you have WeChat, maybe in the next email you can type down this information, and because they will be more than happy to contact you.
Mm-hmm. No problem. I will. I was not used because of a lot through Zoom and actually Teams, WhatsApp, but WeChat, no problem. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, fantastic. I just try to have 1-2 more questions coming in from the agents. What is about the entry requirement in English level? What is the minimum English requirement you have?
Just give you example. I even wanted maybe to share with you, but well, maybe maybe it's not so, yeah, because I had just 1 second, please. I will just tell you exact, because we have a little bit changed this recently. That's why I want to be sure that I'm giving you a good information. So please just give me 1 second. Yes, so I have here the information because it was just recently changed. Yeah. 1 moment, because there was, so sorry about that, but I just need to be.
You will do an interview anyway to all the students in order to understand if the English level is a good level, because to enter in France, technically, the French department do not ask a top English level like 6.5. We have usually the English level, which is basis on 5.5.
Exactly, that's exactly.
In all the 4 component or TOEFL.
That's exactly, that's what that's why IELTS 5.5, TOEIC 785. I can also send this information. So now we even see there is Duolingo, because there are also students who are very often asking for that. So 95, TOEFL 72. As I said at the beginning of the presentation, we have and more students who are actually who have been doing their high school in international schools all over the world. So for sure, for these or for English speakers, just simply, that's normal that we will not ask for an English certificate, but even for, you know, students South America, Asia, Europe, doesn't matter. We have indeed students who have an excellent knowledge of English, and they just simply, you know, present their transcript of records, and we see that they were studying in English, so that's perfectly okay for us. In any case, we are also, please note, we are flexible. I have on a regular basis questions. Students are asking, I don't have my transcript now ready, or my diploma is not already sent, or I have only, you know, the certificate that lasts for, let's say, 5 years ago. Can I please really, the most important is to apply with the document that students have, and then they complete once they finish their high school, for example, right? So we are very flexible with that. And the last but not least, the early birds, right? Because we are right now running this campaign. So it's important. Please note that actually for BA applicants, we offer 800 euros off while enrolling. Normally it was by the end of January. So I will discuss with the CEO, the director of the campus, is following this specific workshop we can do, and I'm sure it will be accepted to, you know, prolong this, because normally it was by the end of January. We will probably do it then by the end of February for students who enroll by this date. 1,000 euros off for the MFA students, right? So that's also important.
Okay, just I will put down this. So 1,000 for master and
800 for a bachelor.
Okay, and 800. I have to type fast.
No, and important also, no application fees. You remember I mentioned admission fees, but no application. We had by the time 60 euros of application fees. We decided to give it up. It was quite, let's say, difficult for students who come from far away, and they have banking fees of 20 or 30 euros while paying 60 euros of application fees. So we've decided to give it up.
Okay, one important point is, especially for the agents coming from India, that the student can ask the high school to write a letter. It's called MOE. I presume that many of you are very familiar with this letter, so they can show that they have the English level the last 5 years. Well, the same concept is for Nigeria. There is no problem, because the majority of Nigerian students study English. Just for all the other information, other country, if they had English in the last 5 years, then it's important they ask a letter from the high school, so they can prove that the English level is good enough. I think this is a very important point in terms of enrolling at 3IS. I can see a lot of advantage. One of the biggest advantage is logically the accommodation, which is in Paris. The second one is the 4 terms of payment installment, which is excellent. So students start in September, they can pay the final installment in April next year. So this is another great part. The commission is very interesting, because more students you enroll, more commission you are getting. The school offers 2 types of program, the English and the French program. So this is very interesting for the one who doesn't speak English, who has coming from a country who speaks French. So this is very important. I can see as well the internship every year at the end. This is a plus point because this will help students to find a job. And logically, all the students, when they finish with the master or the bachelor program, they can remain in France for additional 6 months. Usually, this is the system, how it works in France with the application of the visa. Will students be able to work during the bachelor program with the visa?
Actually, yes, important thing. As you may know, in France, students may work up to 20 hours per week. That's actually, once you have a visa student, students are allowed. That's as far as it concerns, you know, the law question. Then there's a question of time and availability of every student. We have students who decide to work a little bit during the weekend, and that's for sure absolutely possible. Maybe I will mention important thing in the MFA, for example, how we organized this year the program, that specifically to give a possibility to students to work. In general, the schedule is done this way, that they have Friday free. So all classes are made between Monday and Thursday, and then students have this opportunity also to work, because let's not forget they are here for studies, right? So if they have 5 days of work and they want to work the full weekend, well, they need also time to prepare their classes, to shoot films. They have you know, projects they work on, so they can really have part of studies, but also some time for work if they want, but they cannot only specifically focus on work, of course, during the weekend. So that's as it concerns MFA. And the bachelor, in general, 5 days of week there are classes, but it depends, because as I said, also classes are given by the professionals. So every week is scheduled also differently according to, you know, or sometimes they have 2 or 3 weeks of shooting films. So they are even not on the campus. They are doing films in other parts, you know, of the city. So that's also the thing. But students in France can, and they are allowed to work. Maybe I will also add, because I don't know if all agents know, but that's also important, and always very, very welcomed. And students, international students, when they come to France, they are so happy with that information, that actually French government is helping all students, French and international ones, by paying them one part of their rent when they well, for the accommodation. So I will give an example. For example, our residents, so let's imagine they pay 600 euros per month. The whole file will be done with the student by my colleague at the residence, who is in charge of the residence. So he takes at the beginning of the year time with every international student to help him with fulfilling the documents online. And then when everything is validated, students get around 150 euros back every month from the French government.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. On top of that, the student will be able to get the Erasmus scholarship as well, correct? You will explain about the Erasmus scholarship in a second stage during the one-to-one meeting. So we leave this Erasmus scholarship out of this presentation. So for all the agents who are very serious interested, I invited them to have a one-to-one meeting with Claudia after the workshop. She will do a follow-up email. You will get to know a little bit more about the Erasmus scholarship for all the international students study in France, and as well about the information how the French government helps students for the accommodation, which is around 150 euro per month, which they receive back. Not that they receive in advance, they receive back.
Yeah, no, back.
First, they need to pay. They come to front. They have to fill out some document. The document will be sent to the government, and after 6 months, they will receive the feedback about 150 euro per month, which is a good help. Students have this. On top of that, what is a great part here is that students are eligible to work when they study in France. This is quite unique, and students will be able to remain 6 months, the post-study work visa, let's call it like this one. As you know, many of you are very familiar with the UK system. The same system is in France, and usually is 6 months. And if they find a job in France, logically, they can have a job permit and stay longer and longer and longer. Claudia, it was a fantastic presentation, really. And I can stay hours and hours with you here and speak about 3IS because I think we really give a good warm up to all the agents. And I can see that we have finished the workshop with 63 agents. This means the 63 agents remain on board with us from the beginning. So that means it's very, very good. This is more than 90% of the agents who remain until the end. So that means this is a big interest from the agents from around the world. I want to say thank you, everyone, to join us today. We will send a the recorded workshop to all of you. This will come from WEBA site, and Claudia will do a follow-up email with you where you will have the opportunity to sign an agreement. You have the opportunity to do a one-to-one meeting with Claudia. You will have the opportunity to start to cooperate with 3IS, and your students will be more than happy to study in Paris, which is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And I personally love Paris. It's a great place to be, nice place to go out, hanging around. Let's put it like this one. Students love to be in Paris as well because give them a lot of opportunity, especially in this world of movies, cinema, sound, music. This is the new generation. My son, he's an artist and he's doing music since about 80 years. And I showed him the school yesterday. He said, fantastic. I said, he's now 27 years old. He's living in Milan and doing a lot of music. And he earned a lot of money, by the way, in doing music, because now students are musicians get the money through Spotify a lot. You know, more you're doing, more millions you put up, more they will make for everyone who visit the music. So I think this kind of business job is what the new generation is looking forward, because they only want to go in this cinema world, music world, etc. You have this opportunity, do not miss it. Claudia will support you, Claudia and Claudia team. Logica, Claudia is not alone. How many staff are working at 3IS today, Claudia, more or less?
Oh, it's, you know, the question, I even don't know, because there are 4 campuses, you know, so how many we are in general here in Paris, you know, because for sure you have the communication department, accountancy department, international one. So we are around, I think 70, but well, only the administrative staff, but there are also all teachers, you know, there are directors of the programs. However, as you can see, we are working with hundreds of professionals who are not, working at 3IS, but with 3IS. You know what I mean? That actually they are just our the freelancers who are giving classes on a regular basis, and that's what makes also the difference. That, as I said at the beginning, they are giving this practical approach to our students, and that's the best what they can get, actually.
Yeah. So we're talking about a big campus, 4 campus, more than 2,000 students. I presume more than 200 staff. So Claudia and her team will help all of you. And with your students, remember, book early your students, very important for the accommodation. This is fundamental in order to get the visa, because in the end of the day, you do the big work. You convince the students, but you book late and you don't have the accommodation, you don't get the visa, is a pity. So try always to work as fast as possible now in February, March, April, so that Claudia can really help in you through Campus France, which is an important partner of 3IS. And I think we are getting there, Claudia, and I'm sure that
Super.
you will get a good number of students out of this workshop. And again, you have my direct invitation to come on the 20th of February to Paris. We will love to welcome you there and give a presentation and meet the people as well, you know, the one who will join us.
Oh, it will be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I will be happy.
I will send you the details of every agents who join us today as well. Claudia, if you want to give a final comment about 3IS, it will be great.
So, in any case, thank you very much once again. Thank you, Richard. Really, you were a perfect host. So I do appreciate working with you. Thank you so much. Thank you to all agents, as I am really impressed by the number, and it was a real pleasure for me to talk about the school where I'm working. A final word. As Richard has said, I think that having a possibility to recruit for the school that is a little bit different than many of these that you probably have to promote. We are a cinema, sound in the Paris region, one of the most fascinating cities. The school that is extremely practical with good number of international students, having a possibility to study at the bachelor's, at the master's level, in French and in English, in Paris, but also now in Bordeaux. Well, I think that it's the best.
And they have a great partner, which is you, Claudia, because is Claudia the person who will then deal with all of you directly? So you have a face now, you know, she's very active, she's very helpful, and she will follow you in all the assistance you will need for your students. Claudia, thank you very much. My pleasure. Good health, good wishes.
Thank you very much. Can I take a picture of or I don't know if it's possible, maybe people could put their cameras on, these who accept.
Yes, absolutely. We can put the gallery on, and it's great if you can put the camera on a second. This is a good idea to put a nice picture. We know we cannot have everyone there, but it will be, everyone will put the camera on for a second.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice to see you guys. Thank you so much. I'm really happy that you joined, and I'm sure that we can really work very efficiently and nicely. So let's keep in touch soon, right?
Yeah.
I have just right now at 11, I have an interview with a candidate. So, well, I have many interviews, but I will, of course, be really very available.
Eagerly waiting for your mail. And
of course.
You put your contact number so that we can remain in touch.
Exactly.
Thank you, Claudia. We let you go to the meeting. I want to say hello to everyone. I know many of you since many years from Mumbai. Mrs. Rajendra, I know her since long time. We met, I think, the first time 2003. I know Mr. Mirza since long time. Mrs. Kulkarni, I always remember you at the first meeting we had in Ascona in Switzerland when you came with your lovely husband. It was always very nice. Have a nice, very nice memory of all of you, and many of you. Logically, I can see here people from Albania which join us our workshop since long time, from Latvia, from Nepal, from everywhere in the world, from Africa, all India.
Wow.
Thank you very much to join us. It was a great workshop, Claudia.
Thank you so much.
To everyone, good health in 2023, good luck, and be strong. Let's keep working together, and let's make this a great year for everyone.
Exactly. All the best to everyone also, and really thank you for joining, and let's keep in touch very soon, right? Thank you. I really do appreciate. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Richard. I wish you a very prosperous and happy new year to you as well.
Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you, Richard.
Bye-bye. Thank you to you.
Bye.